back to Purple's Collective. I'm Ashley.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela from Ness Wellness.
Hi, I'm Melody from Ness Wellness.
We are sharing ways to heal from past wounds and essentially take back control of our own story and rewrite our new endings. It's also so important that we can learn to find peace and closure within ourselves, regardless of what's happening outside of us. Our wounds can essentially make us stronger and better if we allow ourselves to heal. Will be the first step towards emotional healing.
I have been through a lot of, trauma in my life. Loss with family, relationship breakup, miserable with my career change.
Yeah.
I had to constantly move to a different country to figure out what's next. It's like I tell myself and people around me, I think it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to freak out a little bit. It's okay to just cry. It's okay to realize or recognize that you have a wound. You're hurt. You're heartbreak. And then to take a step back and to think about, okay, eventually you say time will go by, right? And then kind of like put yourself in a way that you're just a dust in the universe in a way. Everyone's life still move on. Today could be COVID, tomorrow could be World War III, and our lives still need to go on. But then, yes, it's very difficult, but then to understand and recognize the feeling, I think that's, for me, is the first step, because I think it's important to feel how you feel and understand this is how you're feeling now. And it's okay to wound, it's okay to fall, it's okay to have that kind of like heartbreak kind of feeling, because eventually one day you are trying to heal yourself, and so you need to know how you're feeling right now. But again, it's not as easy as what I said, because I've been through it. It's actually quite tough, but then that's something that I tell myself and people around me.
Like feel before you heal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that a lot of people sometimes they choose to avoid feeling, and they choose to do other activities to distract themselves.
It's a good way for you to distract yourself a little bit, because when you're in the immediate pain, eventually you need to face it. You have to deal with it. You cannot just keep running away, because I don't think that's a very healthy way to heal yourself, because you're not facing the problem, you're not facing the emotion. Because I think having a closure from others and having a closure for yourself is very important.
Yeah, and oftentimes I feel like we can't really seek for closures from other people. It's always, even sometimes you feel like, okay, this person is giving me closures, but it all comes down to yourself. Like you are the only person that can give yourself real closure.
Yeah.
Before I was also trying to run away or try kind of like push it down, but it was really obvious that I was obviously going through some things, because I would have like mood swings, I would be really impatient, I would be like raging from like the smallest things. And then eventually it reached a point where I was like, I don't like the way that I am. I don't like this person that I am. I don't like the dynamic that is in our family. I just didn't like me at that time. So I started kind of like searching for answers. And by searching for answers, I don't mean like from outside. It was a lot of like deep soul searching, like inside, to kind of figure out like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I like this?
Why am I angry?
Why am I so angry? Or why am I so impatient? Or especially like why do certain things trigger me? I think those triggers, a lot of it comes from maybe like deep emotional or maybe childhood traumas that you've had before, which is why it triggers or like it manifests itself like when you're an adult or in certain situations or scenarios. It was a lot of work. I mean, it was like, obviously I like went to a therapist, I like talked to some different people. There were different like healing processes, alternative healings, ways that I tried. At the end of the day, I feel like all the answers are within yourself. Yeah, but you just kind of have to be almost willing and quiet enough to listen to it and to be able to face it and accept it, because a lot of times it's like you feel very vulnerable. Like I feel like everyone knows the truth like deep down inside, but sometimes just like don't want to listen to it. You're just like, no, that's not me. I'm not like that. Once you have the courage and to kind of be like, accept that, I am like that. I think that's actually really, really powerful, because at that moment, like you can no longer be hurt by what happened to you before, because you've completely made peace with it. You know, that this might be my weakness, but I can turn it into a strength because I know that I'm like this.
Yeah, because you already accepted the
Yeah.
fact that, okay, this is who I am.
Exactly, and I think that's so powerful, but I think it's about facing it. It's like facing your demons, it's facing your, you know, those like the vulnerabilities that you have inside, and then it's about accepting it. But it really is a lot of like work. It's just peeling back layers by layers, because you ask yourself the first question, it's only the first layer, but like you keep asking, it's like
It's like an onion.
It really is an onion, and you keep pulling it back, and a lot of it is just like from 20, 30, from 10, 20, 30 years of just like defense mechanism. It like, because you know you're trying to protect yourself, and at the end of peeling all these onions, you'll realize that there's like this, what we say, like an inner child. There's like this wounded little girl that's inside, and like deep inside. But then I think it's, you know, I feel like at one point, like I feel like I was like talking to her like as an adult, and just being like, you know, it's okay, like, you know, I know what you've been through, and like we're okay now, and like that is really emotional, but it's like it's really powerful, you know. It's really, I mean, I think that's what a lot of this wellness work is. Yeah.
When there's a very difficult situation, often you look back and then maybe you have regrets. You think about, what if this happened differently? What if I've done differently during that time? Like, what can we do to better forgive and have compassion for ourselves?
It's a lot about putting things into perspective, like that might have happened, yeah, but if you look at it on like a bigger scale of things, you know, you put things into perspective, and then you realize that, you know, you're capable of being kind to yourself the way that you are kind to other people, and that sense of forgiveness and that compassion. I mean, like, for me personally, before, I was just like, I just had so much anger inside of me. I might look like I'm all like really
You don't look
up.
angry at all.
Yeah, that's what everyone says, but like, ask my husband. He'll know. But like, I just had so much anger in me, and like, it would be so much anger that I would always, like, it would always almost scare me, because like, I didn't know I was capable of so much anger. And like, it would come out of nowhere. It would just like like from nothing. And it would like, and I don't even know where it came from. And then, oh, well, I do know where it came from, but now I do. I think for me, practicing compassion was trying to stand in the other person's shoes, to try to understand why that person, why that person might have acted that way, or why that person kind of felt that that was the right thing to do. But it's because people have different mindsets or perspectives. So like, what they're doing, they think it's the right thing. They think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You might not perceive it that way. You might perceive it as hurt, or like, you know. But I think it's about having the compassion to think about, you know, why that happened, and then making peace with it, and then forgiving them, forgiving yourself.
We just have to trust the process, no matter how difficult it is. We have to trust that everything will eventually be okay. We often hear that time always heals. How our brains deal with traumatic events may have more to do with the healing process than time itself. Do you agree with that? And can you share with us some ways to emotional healing?
As we grow up, we probably have experience when we're young, you know, you probably fall or get a cut. And then, you know, you can either ignore it, eventually, you know, you're so healed, but you probably have a little scar. Or you take care of it, you put medicine on, you apply, you know, even anti-scar cream. And then the healing process is probably a lot faster.
I think it's finding a type of healing process that works for you. Like for some people, maybe like when you get hurt, the first thing you want to do is kind of like distract yourself. Maybe you want to go on a hike, maybe you just kind of need to run away for a while. But then eventually you'll learn to come back. Maybe you need to like, maybe after you travel, you come back and you're like, oh, I really need to journal. I need to write some things down, you know? And then for other people, maybe they deal with it head on. When you get hurt, you cry, or you listen to really loud music, or you like, you know, go exercise, go for a run. You like run and cry at the same time or something. But I think it's about training your brain to like kind of go through that
very
SOP.
out of breath.
That sounds exhausting actually. But I think it's about training your brain to kind of go through that SOP. But I think you won't know until you experiment with different types of healing processes.
And our last question for today is, how can we help or support a friend or family who is going through an emotional trauma? We have friends who are going through something really difficult, or a family member going through something difficult, but it's really hard sometimes to put yourself into other people's shoes.
Before I was very, I'll say, more naive or more like kind of like thinking just like, oh, you know, I've been through it like this. This is how I deal with it. I think most people probably will
Deal with
feel
it
the
the
same.
same. Yeah.
And I realized that it's wrong. I actually hurt people by accident because I was trying to help him, but then I realized that maybe I was giving him a lot more pressure. So I think it's first you had to understand that everyone deal with their own emotional trauma very differently, right? And then it's also important to kind of like, you had to understand that he or she probably need a lot of space and time. All you have to do is just be a very good supporter, letting him or she know that you'll be there for him or her, and then, you know, give them time, and then, you know, care for them, but then don't try to make a comment or give opinion on the things that they're going through because you're not them. You don't know how do they feel. Sometimes you just have to wait. You have to wait for them to be the first person to actually talk to you about it. Sometimes it's okay to just kind of like not pretend nothing happened, but then don't act very like, oh my gosh, are you okay? But then be more supportive, like say, hey, you know, I know something I've been through with you. I'll be there for you. And if you want, I'm grabbing a coffee with some friend. You can still come join us. Only if you feel comfortable, let me know, you know, because eventually everyone has still like life still need to go on. Yeah. But then don't, because some people feel pressure. It feels like, oh, he's worrying about me, or I don't want this much attention, or I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. So then just try to be sensitive and be more aware, and also like invite them out or still support them and understand when they say no, it's not because they usually say just they are in a very special condition. Yeah. And just be very open-minded. I think that's very important.
It's funny because I feel like right now, because of like social media, you feel like everyone's like okay from what you see on social media. Yeah. But I feel like, you know, it's really hard for us to kind of connect with people now. We don't have the opportunity like we used to. So I think like for me, I'm making a really conscious effort to, when I meet people, to really ask how they are. You know, like really be like, how are you? And not just
really, how are you?
Yeah, like really, how are you? Yeah, that's like I have to ask it twice. I'd be like, how are you? And they're like, oh, I'm great. I'm going to, you know, have summer vacation plans, blah, blah. I'd be like, no. How are you? And then you can kind of see it in their face, you know, if something is wrong or something that they want to talk about, you know. And then, so I think that's really important, kind of to check in with your friends or with your family, but like really ask how they are. Before, I would be like, oh, I think you should blah, 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 I should give it, because I want to help them. But lately, I would be like, okay, do you want me to listen, or do you want me to give advice, or do you want me to help you? Yeah. And I think those, sometimes you'd be like, I just need you to listen. Yeah. And then, so that's your job. And some people be like, I don't know what to do, I need advice. And sometimes people be like, I need help. And I'd be like, okay, how can I help you, you know? So I think it's about, I think it's like kind of what Angela said before too. Everybody deals with things differently, they have different needs, and it's about respecting that needs and it's about asking.
So thank you, Melody. Thank you, Angela, so much for coming and sharing your story and your journey with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.